Did a strike eagle, call sign Dude 44, get shot down over Iran by a drone swarm, a jellyfish drone swarm? Well, that's what recent reports are saying, that the pilot in his debrief said that he saw something no one's ever seen before, which is coordinated drone swarm attacks to take down the aircraft. We'll talk about it. Let's look at the article and see what we can learn.
3, 2, 1, fight off.
So a lot of articles on this, but we're using CNN's exclusive. Down U.S. pilot reports seeing Iranian drones swarm in jellyfish formation. Zachary Cohen and Katie Bow Lillies contributed to this. So again, we take everything with a little bit of caution because this is leaked information if it's true at all. Because if it's real, it's classified. Someone said something they probably shouldn't have from the debrief. And if it's not, then somebody hallucinated it. So we kind of temper our expectations. Not to say that it's not real, but we'll talk about why it might be and why it might not be. So anyway, a fighter jet pilot rescued by special forces after being shot down in April described a shocking sight. Multiple drones hovering in the air, moving as one in a formation that resembled a jellyfish, according to four sources familiar with the matter. The account, which has not been previously reported, was shared by the F-15 pilot with intelligence officials during a debriefing after the incident. That's what I'm talking about, right? If it's going to intelligence officials, this should not be leaked, so may or may not be accurate. It immediately set off a firestorm of debate within the intelligence community that is yet to be resolved. If the airman saw what he described, a formation moving in unison, it would be an alarming advance in Iranian drone capabilities. It says multiple drones interconnected and moving as one, with smaller drones below the bigger drones like legs. The sources said, real alien shit. Another source told CNN the pilot described witnessing a minefield of drones in the air. While the exact cause is under investigation, it's possible that it some way enabled Iran to shoot down the American jet. It is the first time an aircraft has been shot down over Iran in the conflict. You'll recall that an F-35 was hit, but not shot down. But then the A-10 was downed, and then obviously we had to scuttle the MC-130. Now there's some disagreement. The intelligence officials actually now say, hey, maybe not, because he was concussed during the crash, and it was his second ejection, second time being shot down. He had been one of the pilots down in the F-15E versus Kuwaiti Hornet shoot down like a month earlier, according to this. And then the intelligence official said, are you sure you saw what you're saying you saw? And no one else basically will corroborate this at all. This is not something U.S. intelligence has ever assessed to be a possibility, but they could be receiving help from China and Russia. Technical term for capability is described as one-to-many mesh networking. Russia and China are believed to have the capability. Any development in Iran's already sophisticated drone warfare program would be concerned for U.S. forces. And then basically, drone experts are saying, if this is true, it's a big deal, and we're going to spend a lot of money defending it or defending against it. So is it true? Again, mover's opinion. As a washed-up fighter pilot, maybe. If you recall, when we talked about the F-35 getting hit, one of the things that one of the reports said, what it could be the Silent Hunter 358 missile, the SA-67, which has been taking down quite a few MQ-9 Reapers. Obviously, it's not really that effective against fast-moving fighters, but that doesn't mean advances haven't happened. But the reason I bring this up is because this is a drone / missile that loiters over the battlefield. It's old technology that has just been developed over time, but having a loitering missile that can then target and then shoot something down, which makes it very hard to defend against, right? You're not talking something with a radar signature that's going to alert your defensive systems or anything like that. It's just loitering silently, all that stuff. So this was something we had talked about, and it's very possible that it could be developed further. because it's very hard to detect, jam, or defeat. It's taken down a lot of MQ-9s, and it's been used by Iranian proxies in the area. Let's talk about why this could be true and why it could not be true. So on the why this could be possible, yes, a drone swarm can be out there, and China and Russia, especially China, because we've seen China. I did a video not too long ago about their drone swarm launching, and they were using it against surface targets, ground targets. That's not to say that they've developed new tech and are able to use that. A lot of wars become proxy conflicts where either direct support because, well, they don't like us, or indirect support. They're using it as testing on the battlefield for new weapons and emergent tech and stuff like that. So, or both. Could just be a combination of the two. So with that said, the drone swarm technology exists. They don't go into detail in this article about how it would prosecute the attack, because just being a drone swarm is not enough to take down an aircraft, right? You would need either some kind of weapon with an explosive, or it would have to be a kamikaze drone, or they would have to have something in addition, like I talked about, the SA-67 or something that can be launched and actually hit. Now, why do I think there's probably evidence that the concussed F-15E pilot maybe didn't see what he thought he saw? Two things. One, it's nighttime. So NVGs, it depends. I mean, it just depends on whether he was wearing the NVGs or not, night vision goggles. And sometimes your eyes play tricks on you of what you're seeing. You know, it's not, because obviously these things don't have lights on them. So what you're seeing versus what's actually there could be a factor. We don't know. Second, this is not a verified source. This is 4 sources that say they were in the debrief and they don't really know. That's kind of tough to believe. But let's just say it is true. One, it's not good they're leaking this. But two, in order for an aircraft to be taken down, there are requirements, right? You have to be able to see it, target it. So it needs some kind of sensors. Now, whether that's a third party that is using a radar or electro-optical or IR, something has to target it. So that's step one in targeting something. Step two is you have to have a weapon solution to prosecute an intercept, right? Because let's say the F-15E is flying at a tactical airspeed, which is not slow. So you have to be where you are, where you targeted it and they didn't see you, and then affect that intercept with either the kamikaze drone or the weapon itself. I don't know what kind of drone would be, unless the F-15E is rooting around slow and low, like an MQ-9. It is tough to believe that most drones could, unless they're jet powered, get up into that operating area, higher altitude, faster, and kamikaze prosecute the attack. Or the F-15E, because it's a big sky theory, right? So the drones, in order to be a minefield and actually be effective, you have to have layers, right? Because if you're at 1,000 feet and you got 100 drones 1,000 feet and the F-15E passes 1,000 feet above you, nothing happens. So you would have to be layered, stacked 10,000 feet, basically. You'd have to know the general operating area of where the F-15E is, and then stack drones vertically and laterally so that you can affect them hitting you or them going through that minefield. That's the only way a minefield works. It's like flak, right? AAA. You fly above it, no big deal. You fly through it, okay, that's a problem. So the drone has to be able to get up to that altitude and either hover or fly very slowly. That's a tough sell with most drones. And you'd have to have a bunch of them. Not saying it's impossible. It is just a problem. So then if they're doing the kamikaze thing, we've talked about, they have to be able to be in the area and do the intercept. Now they have to, the drone operator, there has to be either they're autonomous or they're going to maneuver to intercept, which means either the drone operator or the drones themselves have to have some kind of sensors to detect and target, unless you're just having them hover in random locations. But that means you knew where the F-15E was going to be. That's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, that's very, very advanced for this conflict. So, yeah, a concussed fighter pilot, maybe not the most reliable. Not saying it's impossible. I mean, we've seen drone formations at parades and stuff, but again, it has to be vertically and laterally stacked. It can't just be one or the other. You can't just have 100 drones co-altitude because, well, that's not going to do anything. You have to have them all stacked, and you're not talking, 10,000 feet. You're talking way up in the flight levels, which, again, that's tough for current drone tech to do, especially with the speeds that the fighters fly. And then that means that he saw it and then flew through it. Did no evasion, did no avoidance, got no indications, flew through it, got shot down again, and made it. So, if it's true, I agree with Bates in that article that this is tough to defend against because, you're going to have a hard time seeing it. Now, I'm sure it'd be apparent on a newer radar or newer sensor, so maybe. But on old mech-scan radars and stuff like that, which there are hardly any left anymore, it would be tough to target. Newer stuff, yeah, I can see that. But if this is true, it either talks to we need to advance our tactics and maybe we got complacent, or the scarier thing is that they're right and we either have a problem with loitering drones that can fire off missiles, or we have drone tech that is now way beyond anything we've ever seen. So I don't know. I mean, that's got me stumped because part of me wants to say, yeah, there's no way. But then part of me wants to say, you don't know what you don't know. And anything is possible at this point. If it is, we're in trouble. Now, with that said, if it is true, was this the only time they've used it? Or was it back to the F-35? Was that part of it too? Or is there something else going on? My gut tells me that this is more of something conventional that is misidentified, but that, again, like I said, could go either way. I don't know. People much smarter than me are probably working on this problem right now. And that's why companies like Anduril and others are doing anti-drone tech because, that is the threat. I still disagree with Elon Musk that drones are it and there's no reason for manned fighters, but this definitely gives you a new threat to think about. But people much smarter than me will comment. Let me know what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.